Sustainable tourism is defined as a form of tourism with more advantages than adverse impacts, especially in economic, environmental, and social terms. Tourism that is truly sustainable and trustworthy must contribute to improving the condition in which people live and visit. Sustainable tourism is a tourism that considers the social, environmental, and financial impacts of tourism and makes appropriate changes to reduce these negative impacts. It considers not only the needs of tourists but also those of the host community, neighboring organization, and nature. Some of the principal features of sustainable tourism are as follows: protections of the natural resources, environmental, and wildlife, economic benefit for communities living in the tourist region, protections of cultural heritage and facilitation of appropriate tourist encounters, bringing together tourists and surrounding communities for mutual benefit, providing comprehensive and accessible tourist information, encouraging local people to collaborate in the development of tourism plans for their benefit and for the protection of their environment, and raising awareness among those responsible for tourism, teaching people to think and act sustainably. The case of the Impawar district in Thailand will be discussed here. Impawar is a large area with a long history of settlement along the river, going back to the Ayutthaya period, as evidenced by the many ancient monuments and relics in temples and houses in the area. The Impawar region also has many cultural and natural resources that could make it a destination for natural and cultural tourism in Thailand. Therefore, tourism in the Impawar region should be conducted sustainably to avoid the destruction of various ecological and cultural resources. The Impawar region is located in the Impawar district of Samut Songkhram province, Thailand. The province is located in the lower part of the focal area. The Mekong River flows through the province. The Impawar community is a fascinating case study due to its sedentary and communal character and development from the early Rattakonsing period to the present. The community consists of several cultural features and themes related to the area history, lifestyle, and daily life. These include the structure and planning, material and substance use, and ability to build with wood for reflect Western influence, the movement of the Chinese who settled in the area and later controlled the economic activities of the Impawar. King Rama II of the Chakri dynasty was another native of this region. The proposed area of interest is to prepare excellent unpublished material to focus on culture and diversity of each assembler rulers, territories, and source places. Linking this with the Impawar natural ecology and personal perspective gives us an insight into the unique characteristic of the Impawar area in the context of Thai culture and history and the unique character of the district. Various fragments Impawar characters gives us an insight into Thailand history. It is an essential part of an Asian society. It contains a wealth of remarkable social and logical values that need to be rationalized and deciphered for the people of the future. The government of Thailand have played a vital role in maintaining the cultural aspects in Impawar to attract tourists all around the world. Sustainably managing tourism is the key way to protect the cultural heritage of an area. The government of Thailand has ensured that the cultural heritage of the Impawar district is preserved and sustainable tourism practices are observed. The Thai authorities have ensured that the architecture and lifestyle of the waterfront are in line with sustainable tourism. Unusual sculpture aspects such as the unique riverfront house, the Thai double-roofed house, the traditional driftwood house, the modern Thai house, and the lifestyle of the Impawar River community are all socially significant as the cultural landscape of Impawar has been inhabited by both Thai and Chinese people for the past 40-50 years. As mentioned in the Bureau Charter, social values include the characteristics that make a place the center of different culture, political, public, or other sentiments of the majority or minorities of its inhabitants. The cultural landscape of the Amphora community is an old, riverine settlement. The Thai authorities have made efforts to develop Imphawan unforgettable sites for sustainable tourism. The importance of Imphawan Sitaram Temple lies in the fact that an essential event related to the Chakri dynasty took place at this site. It is the place of birth of King Rama II. Also, the first residence of the ruler Amreen and her family was within the confines of this temple. According to the Bureau Charter, a place may be noteworthy because it is or has been influenced by an important person, event, scene, or movement. The place may also be outstanding as the scene of an important event. Therefore, the site has great value in tangible and intangible heritage. According to Nunes 1997, this theory implies that interaction can go from host to host in one direction or vice versa, or in varying degrees of two-way communication. Acculturation is related to social communication. It occurs when one less dominant culture begins to absorb elements of another culture in an exchange. It also includes the demonstrative effect of the desire of locals to be equipped with modern Western society, which can be seen in their interaction with these tourists. Thailand has successfully used this process of assimilating a particular culture to meet the needs of tourists, for example, modifying elements of traditional dance to meet the needs of visitor schedules, budgets, and photographer needs, allowing people to camera access to secure sites, often wearing formal and traditional clothing. Cultural assimilation. According to the Spicer 1968, host societies adapted tourism by submitting to the attitude and values of tourists, and one set of cultural identities is replaced by another. Culture drift. Mathewson and Wall 1992 distinguished between occultation and culture drift, noting that culture drift is phenotypic change is host behavior that occur only upon contact with tourists but may return to the norm after the tourists leave. Servility theory involves the representation and exploitation of people as commodities as seen in advertisements and images that belittle and stereotype locals. Demonstration effect. When demonstration effect in the phenomena of indigenous and rural communities and culture adopting through demonstration and interaction, Western style and behaviors that they observe when tourists visit them. Locals try to emulate the lifestyle of tourists. Locals may resort to crime to achieve this lifestyle. Tourism in rural indigenous communities has made positive and negative consequences. One of the most negative impacts on the culture of the host community is the demonstration effect. Modernization is about improving infrastructure, increasing economic efficiency, and changing values of the determinant of the host culture. Modernization allows developing cultures to raise their social status but force them to abandon their cultural identity. Thailand is known for its modernization as the country has improved infrastructure, a change in values, and enhanced economy at the cost of independent culture of their host destination. Thailand's socioeconomic level has improved as a result of modernization, yet they have been forced to give up their cultural identity. Many economies and businesses rely on tourism to coordinate development worldwide. Culture tourism is a branch of tourism that focuses on the way of life of a particular typographic area, such as crafts, architecture, costume, festival, and values that helps combine a country's way of life. Western who comes to Thailand with their culture of egalitarianism openness, and direct confrontation, expect their Thai colleagues to be less respectful, more original, and ready for discussion. Thai employees who have adapted to Western corporate culture seem to feel less guilty about freely expressing their ideas and criticism and standing up straight in front of their employer rather than bowing discreetly or crossing their arms to say nothing. Thai workers have learned that their Western employers are not shy about expressing their satisfaction, sympathy, and dissatisfaction openly and with gesture. In the context of tourism, locals adapt to the tourist culture, and this situation eventually leads to a process of culture adaptation and culture change. Some ethical issues are created while considering culture in sustainable tourism development, same in the case of Imphawa, where sustainable tourism practice or observed and cultural heritage is maintained. Some ethical issues also arise that need to be resolved while maintaining the cultural legacy and inducing sustainable tourism in Imphawa. The local community is somehow being ignored. Hence, the inclusive tourism opportunities are being compromised. The cultural heritage is being conserved, but the opportunities for the locals for sustainable tourism development are not up to the mark. This can result in discouraging the local community of Imphawa who can take part of pursuing the sustainable tourism development in the area. Moreover, as it is evident that the place is a source attraction, the transportation price for the tourists are increased. An exceptional cultural landscape in the Imphawa community and encompassing region is the great fascination with numerous tourists. The combination of cultural heritage and sustainable tourism development has attracted tourists from all over the world. The historical place and the architecture is being maintained to ensure that the principle of sustainable tourism are followed and the cultural legacy is also maintained. Following are the recommendations to resolve some ethical issues and ensure that sustainable tourism practices are observed. The opportunity should be provided to the local community of Imphawa to induce sustainable tourism practice while maintaining the cultural heritage of the place. The transportation for the tourist should be modest to be attractive and must serve the neighborhood needs first. The authorities should recognize the importance of creative plans and impulsive that affect many parts of the remarkable city. Winding the footpath can create an active pedestrian zone that encourage tourists to discover and explore the town and stroll peacefully along the river on the path in front of the houses. Tour operator should help nearby canoes guide visitors through a limited number of blocks of memorable waterways. This will help visitors understand the honesty of Imphawa community and the solidarity with the environment.